So we're going to go live first, and then we're going to introduce you, okay? So we'll be right back.
Cool. Okay.
Yes, we are.
We're live.
We're live. Why are you standing over there?
Because I have to get my MC to introduce you.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Lady Yolanda. Okay, now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Studio 53. I don't know why we need an intro for a Mark and Yolanda show, but obviously he always wants an intro, so we will do an intro. Welcome to Studio 53. And
where's our writers at?
Writers.
Our staff. Where's our staff?
We don't have any staff. He's crazy. I don't know what he's talking. I don't know if he must have hired some staff now because we magically have staff for a 2-person show. Anyway, welcome to the show.
Wait, let me introduce
Mark
No,
Music.
No, that's not. I don't do that. I don't do that.
Get here, sit down.
Hang on. I'm talking to my intro. Hey guys, can you guys introduce me right? There you got it, buddy. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Studio 53, brought to you live, Yolanda Martinez Music Internet. He is known all over the world. He's done more shows than you can imagine. He shows up when he needs to. He mows the grass with a pickup truck and a fence. That's how he is. Redneck Mark, give it up for your one and only master of sensation and ceremony, Mark Music. Can't believe it. That was a hell of an intro, man. I just can't believe it. Hey,
Why do you need an introduction for our show?
honey, we draw over 4 people.
This is hi Kimberly. This is a show.
We have 4 people. We have 4 fans right now. They want to see a high-end quality.
You're insane.
No, this is high-end quality stuff. You know what? I'm starting to do this stuff because I got to change my image.
What, you're losing your hair?
No, because it's quality. If you have 2 fans, you don't need an intro. When you double your fans, that's when you go, oh my God, these guys are big time. Yeah, that's how we do it. Because we're big.
I don't know. He wants an introduction all the time. We don't need introductions. We're sitting here and we're chatting casually.
No.
We're going to have a special guest today.
Kevin Hart is here, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Hart. He's done 13 movies. He is amazing. And
13 movies.
Kevin Hart, yeah.
He's done more than that.
He's done 13 movies that actually mention my name in there. Where he says, because he says something like, we got to mark this spot. And he was talking directly to me.
Don't listen to him.
And a special guest, not only Kevin Hart, we've got Will Smith too. We got them both. We may not have time to get to them right now. So I want to bring on who I think is way funnier, way better looking. He's got the most amazing, incredible worldwide tour. Let's talk to our good friend Rod Long way before we bring on that Hart dude and that Smith.
All right.
And if we have time, we'll bring on Kevin Hart and Will Smith. But for right now, I think we ought to bring on our main guy. What do you think?
Yes.
Do the intro.
The best guy.
Do the intro.
Go ahead.
Do
You're
the
the
intro.
intro guy.
Let me get my guy today.
Oh, my God.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are not going to believe this. He has traveled the world. He has been in front of over 3 million people. Stages from worldwide, 7 continents, 128 countries. You heard it right. If you've heard of NSYNC, you probably saw this man open for him. If you have heard of Eddie Murphy, he opened for him. Yes, Kevin Hart. Kevin opened for him. Bring him on, ladies and gentlemen. Give him Mr. Rod Long. Man. I didn't know what a resume.
Oh my God. I don't know.
Let me just tell you, you are way, way too kind.
Well, you're humble because of all these people you know. It's amazing to me how for us to get this interview took a long time.
With all those names you dropped. I'm telling you, I cannot believe you live in Las Vegas, Mark, with all those names you just dropped. And by the way, if Kevin Hart, if you have any inclination, brother, that I'm trying to fill your little tiny shoes, because I'm not. I know you're a little man with a big bank account. I got nothing to say to you, brother. I'm happy I didn't see you on TV loot. That's all I'm saying, brother. All right?
Yeah, that's a good thing. That is a good thing.
Wow. So great.
Well,
to
I
see
gotta
the two
say,
of you.
we are great to see. It's great to see you. We have literally almost 5 fans that follow us on a regular basis. So our network is growing. It is growing. We started with 1 fan about 4 years ago. Now it's up to 5. It's amazing how the word is spread about this. It's just mind blowing.
You are so insane.
Listen, 5 can multiply to 25, can multiply to 50. I mean, if we just keep doing the math, there's a ripple effect that happens here, Mark and Yolanda.
I am
That's
blown
right.
away.
That's right.
You to believe that we can get 50 people to watch us is like.
Well, listen, let me just tell you the fact that you were able to catch up with me, what with Mr. Hart and Mr. Will Smith being busy.
I know.
And I just happened to be around, basically just chilling in my post-cancer life that I now live. And we can certainly talk about that, because I got to tell you, as a funny person, cancer can be not funny, except that I must just say that the reaction of people when I told them that I had cancer was always the same, because when they'd say, "So, Rod, what kind of cancer do you have?" And I'd say, "Well, pancreatic." And there would be about a 5-second pause, and it was the same question. "So, do you owe me any money?" I just want to know if you owe me any money. And by the way, is that cancer contagious? Because if you owe me any money and it's contagious, I want you to slide that money just outside the door. All right? No checks, no Canadian currency, money. I want real money. Euro, whatever you want to put out there, real money. Yeah, it's been a trip to have and survive this cancer. I was 2A. Okay, so I wasn't at 4. 4 is a bad number. I was 2A. It was actually resting on top of my pancreas. 27 rounds of chemo.
Wow.
And almost 12 hours of surgery later, I'm here talking to my good friends Mark and Yolanda. And bottom line is this: I now have a whole drawer in my bathroom full of black hair care products that I will never ever be able to use again in life.
Well, you looking good to me, brother.
This is a cold bowl of chili I got served, man. I got an old white man's hair and an old black man's credit score. I'm upset. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, I didn't know you were black.
I'm black all the time. You know what? I gotta tell you, and I gotta tell our audience of 5, and I hope they're still tuned in. Please. What do you want to turn on the TV for? There's nothing but bad news. Listen to
Amen,
us.
brother.
Okay, there's nothing but bad news on the TV. And even sports, except tonight, by the way. Monday Night Football game, get this. Seahawks versus the 49ers. You know why I'm going to watch? Because I already know we won that game. Yeah!
Were you in Seattle? Oh, right.
Oh, yeah. I'm up here in wonderful passive-aggressive Seattle. By the way, speaking of passive-aggressive, did you check it out last night? They're showing people in Seattle. They're protesting. There was obviously some looting. There was things going on. One woman with the mask on to stay COVID-free had a cheesecake still on the platter, an entire cheesecake from the Cheesecake Factory, and was walking down the streets in downtown Seattle with an entire cheesecake. And I'm just wondering who showed up at her house for the dinner party and what she said to them. "You have no idea how hard I worked to get this cheesecake. I was in the kitchen for hours. I made this from scratch." Once I crawled past a number of people who were throwing rocks and assorted other implements of destruction. I started and I made this cheesecake from scratch. No, we are upside down, my friends, and we know that. And some of it you got to laugh about, because if you don't laugh, you find yourself boo-hooing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, that's you're a comedian,
my friend. We know that.
You're a comedian, and you're also a therapist, because when you make people smile, they forget about the problem. That's what I love about hanging out with you on tour and all that, is we got to hang out. We have some stories that we can tell and some we cannot tell.
Some
and
stories,
they're all good.
They're all good, Mark. And as you know, sometimes the names must be changed to protect the ignorant. All right? We must sometimes change the names just to protect those people who know, well, that we're talking about them, but we don't want to see them in court.
That's right.
That's right. You know what? We got to be able to laugh.
We did have just amazing times hanging out. I think it was when Yolanda had first really got the bug for photography.
Oh.
And I remember that because Mark, you had bought her a great camera. And at that time, she had a mouthful of braces. She had a mouthful of braces. I was congratulating her on how incredible that $100,000 mouth job. $100,000. Unbelievable. I'm telling you, yeah, that picture, you got braces in the picture.
I know. But you took
a picture, right?
Yep, absolutely. We were hanging out. We had so much fun that day. And then we went.
Yeah, that was that sits in my office, like I said, but yeah.
It was a really amazing day. And it was fun how we met, by the way, because we actually met over breakfast. Remember that?
Yeah.
Wasn't it in Miami, Florida?
We met in Miami in Doral.
Yes.
At the hotel.
I think it was a Holiday Inn Express or something, but it was one of those hotels that just had the killer breakfast. So we had, I met you over eggs and pork sausage.
You know what? How else would I want to meet with you?
Come on, man. I met you over eggs and pork sausage, and probably there was no people of the Jewish or Muslim persuasion in the dining room area. If they were strictly going with the fruit and the cereal. However, for us, the pagan heathens that we can be like when we sit at the table and imbibe on pork sausage, we hit it off right away.
Yes.
Right? I think we shared a cab to the ship.
Same ship.
Yeah, we shared a cab too, didn't we? To the ship.
Shared a cab.
Or the ride, yeah.
What was really, really not necessarily fun but eventful was our night at that Brazilian steakhouse.
Remember the stories we talk about and don't talk about? Well, it's too late now. You opened up that can of worms.
I had to open up that can. I had to open up that can of worms because guess what? When they went in for surgery, one of the surgeons mentioned that he found a piece of steak from that Brazilian steakhouse still somehow stuck in my lower colon.
I remember that.
I know. All right.
We actually invited you to dinner. This is when we're just getting to know you. And like Yolanda and I are like, well, we don't eat a lot of meat. We go, well, let's go to a nice, the Brazilian steakhouse, all you can eat. You know how that is. Yeah. And Rod's like, being the gentleman and polite man, he goes, well, sure. Little do we know, he didn't eat that much meat either. And now that night, he ate a little bit too much meat. And it was comical. Or it was hilarious after that. Lord help us. To this day,
because he had a show the next day. He had a show the next day.
He was supposed to have.
I called you. You guys were right next door to me, and I called you because my bowels were on lockdown. Okay, and I said to you, point blank, you answered the phone, and I said, "Here's the deal. I've got 2 shows tomorrow night, and my bowels are on lockdown. If there's not some kind of movement in the next 17 to 18 hours, I'm going to knock on the door, and when you answer the door, I'm going to stab you in the eye with a fork." You understand what I'm saying? So get this, audience of 5. Get this. Lo and behold, I go to do my show, my first show, and because Mark and Yolanda are very sensitive and caring people, what did they do? They taped a box of Duolax, stool softener, on the door of my cabin. So that between shows, just in case, or by the way, if I wanted to take a chance and do the Duolax and then walk out on stage for my second show and suddenly say about 25 minutes into my show, by the way, make sure you tip the wait staff and whatever you do, don't go to that Brazilian steakhouse. Good night. Come on, man.
This is all true stuff.
This is all true stuff. And you know what was so funny? I'm laughing big time. And I got a great laugh. My laugh is very, very hysterical. I've had somebody tell me it sounds like somebody's doing something obscene to a hyena. But anyway, I'm laughing. I'm bent at the waist laughing. And suddenly the door opens. And I want you to imagine, audience of 5 who have tuned in right now, that first Mark's head comes out, followed by Yolanda's head the other way. It was like looking at an inverted Brady Bunch beginning of a show. Minus one of the Brady kids. Or maybe Alec, the wayward cook. You know what I'm saying? It was insane. But we had a ball, and we made some great art, and we made a great connection. And we are, as you know, Living in a different time, my friends.
I know.
Hey,
We
you
have
know
to
what?
be, we have to be creative about entertainers. Mark, when you told me how much money you have lost between March and August, I got to tell you, my friend, I don't know if I've ever made that much money in my career, for God's sake.
Well, we're
I know
reinventing
white guys
ourselves.
make more money, man. I don't want to be mad and start burning things here in my own house, but what's up, dog? Talk to a brother.
We got to reinvent ourselves now. Now we get to spread it in front of more people because of opportunity like this. You know, the
I
StreamYard.
have to
with
reinvent
Facebook and-
myself. I want you to imagine I'm a white man, and I'm going to behave
Well,
and mind my manners to what I say. And I also
You
know
remind
what
me
works
of,
for you for breakfast. And
who's the guy that Famous Amos? Remind me of Famous Amos now. You sound like
isn't that crazy?
and you
I
look
remember
like
when I lived in
Famous
LA,
Amos,
I used to love his cookies, man.
and you're full of energy. I love that man. What an inspiration!
You know what? He really was an inspiration, wasn't he?
Yeah, I saw him on
one
Shark Tank
of
not
many
long ago.
inspirational stories, man.
Yeah.
One of many inspirational stories. But now listen, people always ask me how I got started doing this. You know, I'm a photographer. I sent you a link to my site. Did you check out what
Yes,
I did?
I saw that.
Beautiful.
Yes.
You know what? I used to make people nuts on the ships because we'd pull into port, and if I could get off as a passenger, even though I was, down in the crew area, I would get off right away just because I wanted to take advantage of the light and the time that we had in different ports. And I know, Yolanda, you share that passion. There is something about the magic of the moment. And what I love about my art is that every time I look at something, I go back to the moment when I shot it.
Yeah.
Which, and as we both know, Yolanda, one of the exercises with photography is that you, in effect, because you freeze a moment in time, I look at it like we're cheating time, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? If you can freeze a moment in time, in effect, you're cheating time. And the older I get, the more I'm into cheating time, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have X amount of time in this life. And as creative people, we know that we have, well, first and foremost, this creative energy that burns in our belly. It burns like a Brazilian steakhouse aftermath.
We're gonna find a steakhouse in
call back. All right, yeah, that's all I'm saying. I had to get a call back in, dog. All right, that's all I'm saying. Okay.
Remember some of those games? What was that one game we used to play on the ship? Where you and what was the juggler's name? Funny, great juggler.
Romano.
Romano.
Yeah, Romano Federini. Oh,
Yeah.
remember it was Dancing with the Stars.
Yes.
Yes.
That was
hilarious.
You know what I remember about that? We did it in the theater one afternoon. We had a really rough seating. They had everybody huddled in the theater. And remember how the Manila Mafia, the women who worked for the Manila Mafia would stand outside all the theaters? And if we think right now that we're into washing our hands, as both of you know, and anybody who has traveled ships knows this, it was all about the washy.
Washy, happy.
That's what they called it. They stand outside like little robots. Washy, happy. Smiley. Right? Remember that?
Yeah.
Right?
He used to say that all the time.
Oh, yeah, big time. Washy, happy, smiley, right? So we're in the theater. I'm hosting the Losers Lounge. So they're coming backstage. They're in the theater where they've got the live cam feed to the audience. And I'm interviewing the people who are getting voted off the show. So now it's down to two couples. The song they're playing was from Dirty Dancing. Oh, I had the time of my life. Oh, and remember that song? I can't sing. But anyway, So they start way dirty dancing. But they're over. They've taken the entire stage in the theater. And they're over by me. And they are bumping uglies and grinding. And they move from the area of the stage over by where I was. But I'm backstage, right? Watching the whole thing. But I had grabbed one of the Manila Mafia workers and had a bottle of the washy handy, right?
I remember that.
Now, dig this. As soon as they moved away from right close to where I was standing and back towards the judges who were on the other side of the stage at a table, I walked out on stage and squirted the floor where they had been bumping and grinding with the washy, looked at the audience, buckwheated, and then walked off the stage. and literally the theater exploded with laughter.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Just exploded, man. It was like, and Romano said to me later on, he goes, "Oh man, I had no idea what you." He said, "I only saw you just as you walked back off stage." I said, "Dude, it was me and the Washi Washi. Did you see what they were doing out there? Somebody was about to have a baby. Are you kidding me?"
I remember that.
Come on, man. Good
You
times
guys
on the
would
ship.
ad lib. You can.
Come on,
I mean,
man.
I've never met anybody so fast on their feet as far as just comedic timing and time. It's like you made those trips go so fast, and we wanted them to go longer. What was the one game we'd all play where you get together in a group and they'd read a question like, "Okay, you've got to get somebody. You got to kiss somebody, right?" And
Yeah.
it was what was the name of that game?
You
They
know what?
stopped playing it for a while. It was the most fun.
It was a ridiculous game. Some of those games that they were playing on ships because they got out of control.
Yes.
Okay, it was the last night of the ship, and I'm trying to
Yes.
and it was, God, what was the name of that game? Because Romano hosted the game,
Yes,
Yes.
he did.
and he
Yes,
loved
he
hosting the
did.
game. I want to say Odyssey, but it wasn't Odyssey.
No.
No.
But it was. I mean, you saw men with lipstick on, men running around with women's brassieres.
Yes.
Obviously, alcohol was involved in this.
And they didn't do that.
Copious amounts of alcohol, kids. And now dig this. Here's the other thing that I know, and you guys know as well. There was many Facebook accounts that were closed right after some of these fools got off the ship. Because the minute any of that stuff was posted, you had guys at home going, "Wait a minute. I was wearing a brassiere." Yeah, you're wearing a brassiere.
And you kissed the guy.
Oh,
You know
one of
what
the
I'm
first ones, a guy has to kiss a guy. And then they kiss him and like,
Oh,
we didn't say on the lips. We're like, what? You did.
yeah.
You just assumed.
And let me just say this. As you know, by the last night, there are some people on there who are literally dead men and women walking. They've drank it ain't that much.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, when I'm in grocery stores and somebody is like kind of dragging in front of me, just kind of slowly shuffling their feet along, I'm thinking to myself, Mark and Yolanda, I wonder how long ago they got off a cruise ship. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. And cruising is going to be all different. I so miss it. You got to understand how much I miss sailing. But let me tell you how different it's going to be. For all the people out there who stand with bated breath outside of the buffet, where someone should stand next to the Washi Washi lady with a starter's pistol. With a starter's pistol. You understand what I'm saying? With a starter's pistol. Bam! And they're off. Those days are going to be over. They're going to have to ration food to these people, which in my estimation is going to result in insurrection, food fights. Oh, forget about it. And I don't know about the two of you, but I don't want to take on a 320-pound woman in a hover round. All right?
She'll run you over.
Here's what I'm going to do, Big Mama. I'm going to help you get some more desserts. I'm going to hook you up. How's the blood sugar, by the way? I'm going to hook you up. No, I can hook you up.
Oh, my God. So as a comedian, I mean, you're always making people laugh. What makes you laugh, Rod? What makes you just bust a gut?
You know what, man? Sometimes it's the most ridiculous, simplistic things. You know what I've always really dug is the ability to make the truth funny.
Oh.
And because therein lies the power of stand-up comedy. You see, we're social commentators. Unfortunately, because comedy is a mirror of society, and because, as you both know, we've become so angry and divided, a lot of comedy is really mean. And misguided, and misguided, man, and misguided. And I want you to understand, because I've been in this game over 30 years, and I feel a tremendous obligation at times to tell you what is heinous, yet make it hilarious. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
I had a 9/11 joke, not a 9/11 joke about what happened, but I had a 9/11.
Where'd he go?
I don't know.
I had a 9/11 bit. That was my son calling. I have to catch that
Oh.
later. I had a 9/11 bit that I opened with 5 days after 9/11. Now, Frank Gehry, world-renowned architect who has designed the Disney Museum, had before that designed the Experience Music Project Museum in Seattle. And it's a conglomeration of twisted metal, and it's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous museum. But if you get up in the Space Needle, as you're looking down on it, it looks like a smashed guitar. Now, I get up on stage after literally 11 comics, and it was a Red Cross benefit, and the club was packed, and 2 of the comics had mentioned that it was hard to be funny after what happened. In the back of my mind, come on, man, first and foremost, I'm a journalist and a photographer who switched careers. I got to look right in the eye of that hurricane sometime and be able to tell you what was funny about what I saw. So I get up on stage and I said, none of us will ever forget what happened last week. I said, for you young people, that was your November 22nd, 1963.
Yeah.
But as I watched those 2 buildings coming down, I thought, if this ever happens in Seattle, the only place I will feel safe hanging out is the Experience Music Project Museum. Because from the ground in the air, it looks like a plane barrel rolled into it a couple of times already. And let me just tell you, when I said that, because people in Seattle know what the museum looks like, there was this explosion of laughter. It was literally this release. And I could feel it, man. I could feel the release of the energy because people so wanted to let loose.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that I was saying what happened was funny. All
Right.
I was saying was, dig this. If this happens in Seattle, I'm going to a place that looks like it's already got hit by a plane. You understand what I'm saying? And that, to me, is taking what I know we do every night, which is to walk out. I always say this. Comedy is like walking on a blade, walking back and forth on a blade. That's, you know, and you have to be very dexterous about walking back and forth on a blade, because if you misstep, in other words, if you say the wrong thing,
Yeah.
you can get cut.
Yeah.
And once you get cut and there's blood, that stage suddenly becomes a moat. And that audience literally becomes sharks.
Yeah.
And the more you bleed, the more shark fins you see around that stage. And that's what happens when you bomb. And guess what? When I tell you that I have ceremoniously bombed, the first time I headlined in Seattle in a club, it's an Elks Club now. I'm a member. I went up there, Mark and Yolanda. I took the guy, the club president, upstairs where they now have their meetings, and I showed him over in the corner. There was chalk marks where I laid down and died from years ago.
That, you know, people don't realize what
Crazy.
you have to do.
But I
to
wouldn't do
become
anything
what
else
you need to
except,
become.
you know, photography and try to convince people that I've got great ideas for films. I've been doing that since film school. But
Yeah. Well,
yeah, man. I'm
there's
blessed.
nothing
I know
like
I'm blessed to
appreciating.
still be here.
You got to appreciate where you are now because of the things you had to go through. I remember some shows where I just wish I had curled
I
up and
cannot hear
died.
you at all.
Can you hear me now?
Where you at?
Go ahead.
Oh, you're muted again.
Unmute.
I can't. Oh, there he is. Can
There
you
you
hear
go.
us?
Rod, can you hear? What, are you going to hear with your eyes?
How come I can't hear you?
We can hear you. I don't know what happened.
Oh, no.
It was perfectly
Oh,
fine.
no.
Hold on. See, I can't. Oops. Oh, what happened? We lost him.
Go back to him.
No,
He's over there.
no, honey. That's a replay. He
Well, this-
disconnected. Well, I think he got disconnected.
How do we reconnect them?
He's got to re-enter again.
All right. Well,
So
I want to ask you a couple
anyway,
more questions.
yeah,
you
we
know?
got a few more questions for him. Hopefully, he can come back on. Tell him to log back onto the link I sent him.
All right.
But yeah, so that's our friend Rod. Let's see, who do we have on with us? Hey, Familia Torres, how are you?
And Amy's here. John's daughter. I haven't seen her in a long time. St. Lucie County Fair. I don't think you
Oh, I don't know.
you ever met
No.
there. Okay. I'm gonna call him Rod. I'm gonna call him Rod.
Hey, Judy.
Let me call him
Oh
Rod.
yeah, we'll tell you those stories later.
Yeah, there's some stories you can't tell.
There's some stories we can't share.
You got to hook back up again. What happened to you?
Use that link that I sent you and reconnect again.
All right. I think I gave him the proper instructions. Rod's been through a lot of stuff, you know, and he comes out and he's always smiling. That's the one thing of the message you get where he didn't have cancer. He didn't believe that he was
there he is.
that he actually fought cancer and won. And that's the whole thing in life. Sometimes we're going to have challenges in life, and taking his story and saying, hey, let's not let cancer own us. Let's own the fact that we want life. And just imagine beating all the odds, COVID-19, beating that. Things that are going on right now. What if we came together and said, you know what, this is what's going on, but this is what I'm going to own. And Rod never owned the fact that he had cancer. He owned the fact that I own my body and I'm getting rid of it. And look what he is today. You know, he laughed cancer out of his life, and he's grateful for what he has. And what a testimony of let's never give up on life, because you know what? We own who we are. Let's take it and say, you know what? I don't care what you think. Yeah, my buddy's got Parkinson's, and he said, I ain't got Parkinson's. My body does, not my mind. And boom. And when you have that attitude, you can control so much more and taking care of your body. So when we got, they can't trade this in and get a new one. So what we got to do is mind to say, you know what, nothing's going to stop us, you know? So what kind of comedy do you do?
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can totally hear you. You know what I'm doing right now?
Yeah, you're messing with the camera.
And you muted yourself again.
Done muted himself again.
I don't think I can. Oh, there he is.
Am I good?
Yeah, well, your ceiling's good. Yeah, I see a red Rolo cup upside down.
That's my coffee cup, man. I live in
Seattle.
Seattle.
On your head?
You're standing on your head.
That's much better. I was worried about my phone going out, man. I had my son run upstairs. He got his little mini charger.
Oh, okay.
Worse. As it is, you've already lost me once, man. I mean, how many times can a black man black out in the middle of a little Facebook Live conversation?
Do you remember the time? Come on now. Where were we in Ibiza?
No, Barbados.
Barbados? I forget where we were. And we had a tender. Now, if people don't know a tender is, that's where the boat, the big ride. Ship has to not dock. It has to drop anchor. And then you got to get on a little lifeboat, tender boat, and they tender you over
to the island.
The challenge. And generally, is the water glassy or bumpy? I'm going to go with real bumpy. So we go over there. Well, I think we did a tour together, right?
Yes.
And, you learned a lot about culture. Apparently, when you go through a graveyard, the graveyard is in the middle of the road between both sides. I just learned a lot about Rod. Is he don't go down that road.
You know, by the way, I never understood why they called them tender boats, because at times the ride is anything but tender.
It's not tender at all.
You know what I mean?
Especially on the way back.
Oh my God.
Oh, and you know what? It was really interesting. You'd always be sitting between people that you didn't really want to be sitting between. Okay? I'm glad you really liked my show, but have you ever heard of deodorant?
We had to go to the top. And
I can't say that all the time because, you know, I don't want to get fired. You know what I'm saying?
We know what you mean. Yeah. Sometimes you wonder if they have deodorant that they can.
Sometimes I have to absolutely put myself on mute, and you've seen me do that in the course of our conversation. You know what I mean? Sometimes mute is a good thing.
Oh yeah. Sometimes mute is a good thing. It's like
sometimes mute's a good thing. Sometimes I see the president, I go mute. I gotta put something else on TV.
You remember your hair getting all wet?
Yeah.
Oh, his hair, his camera. He had his camera bag.
And you had to do a show that night.
It was.
Oh man.
It was so rough, and we were on the top, and I think we got stuck on the end seats that were. Every time the water sprayed, it's like we all got wet.
Oh, it was crazy.
And you were trying to cover your camera with your camera bag with your shirt.
Everything. Listen, I would have laid down on my camera to keep it dry.
And we get on the ship, and the first thing they do is washy, washy, happy, happy. And do you remember your comment? You said washy, nappy. You see this hair? Nappy. Oh, I about fell into the ocean after hearing that. I thought, oh my God.
Watch it. Nappy.
That's right.
Oh, that is too good.
Well,
That is, those were, you know what? Great times, man. Great times.
Well, how did you get started? I mean, what made you say, I want to get started as a comedian? What got you started as a comedian?
On a dare, I was working for a photography magazine in Los
Seriously?
Angeles. Yeah, man, true story. I was the associate editor at Peterson's Photographic Magazine, and on a dare, my friends started taking me to comedy clubs, and we were at a club one night in Santa Monica, and it was a female headliner. We were sitting at the table near the front, and her closing bit was she had a blow-up doll in a trunk that she pulled out, and the blow-up doll was a man in a Dodger uniform with a bat in its lap, and she had a hydraulic switch on the back of it, and suddenly the bat came out full extension. So now the audience is all laughing, and she's reveling in the applause and the laughter of the audience. And she takes the doll and sticks it right out at our table, right out there where we were sitting. And I stood up and gripped the barrel of the bat, turned to the audience and said, "He is gifted for a Caucasian player." And absolutely blew the club up. And when I sat back down again, my buddy Rob, who's one of my best friends, leans down across the table and he said, "That's what I'm talking about. Don't tell me you can't do this, man.
Wow.
Don't tell me you can't do this." And probably about 6 months later, I started doing it. Let me tell you who was the first established comedian who came up and really gave me props, man, was Sam Kinison.
Yeah.
wow.
He was working out at the Westwood Comedy Store where I was working out at the time. And Sam saw me one Sunday night. I had a great set. And he had his beret on. And he was backstage. He was going to close the show. And he waves to me to come backstage. And I walked back there and he said, "Hey, brother, can I ask you a personal question?" And I said, "What's that?" He said, "Is that your real name, Rod Long?" I said, "That's my name, dog." He said, "Man, that's not even fair. Funny black man named Rod Long. My name is Sam." I'll never forget that. And he said, "Has Mitzi seen you?" Meaning Mitzi Shore.
Yeah.
And I said, "No." And he said, "I want to set you up with a showcase for Mitzi Shore," which he did about 3 months later. And long story short, guess what? I stood out that night and I got no play. And what I was told 2 days later when I called the Comedy Store Annex was that Mitzi thought I stole my material. And it really, it put such a bad taste in my mouth. I didn't do it anymore until I moved back to Seattle. And then I hit an open mic and started doing it again. And just gradually kind of, got more microphone muscle. The more you pull the microphone out of the stand, the stronger your microphone muscle gets. So my microphone muscle got stronger. Won a couple of comedy competitions. But you know what's really been the best part about this, man, is some of the people that I've met, like the two of you, people that I miss, that I'm so happy through technology to be able to look at.
Yeah.
Isn't this crazy, man, that we can actually look at you can look at me from your laptop, I can look at you from my phone, which thank God is charging. Yeah.
Thank God, yeah. Is there a big difference between working on the ship and comedy clubs?
Yeah. Gotta really, that blade is exponentially sharper on the ship. Yeah. Exponentially sharper. And I remember I do a bit, and I had been doing it for a long time on ships about immigration and how one of the things that makes America great is our diversity, that we all came from somewhere else. That it's like this big patchwork quilt. And I said, if everybody in this country had to go back to where their family's roots originated from, the Native Americans would be standing around in empty casinos, right? And it's so heavy for people to really think about and process. But I walked a whole row of people who did not want to hear anything I had to say. And as they were leaving the theater, I said, "Excuse me, sir, but can I ask you which of the indigenous tribes you and your family are from?" Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Whoops, my bad. Yes,
You got away with a lot.
To the cruise. Oh, yes, there was an email to the cruise director, and that got forwarded to my agent.
Oh.
And they had not nice things to say about a brother. I know who they voting for again. It's all good. Come on, man. We all got to share this ball. Ask Elon Musk.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, you know what? You're looking good, Rod. It's such great to catch up with again. Every time we'd be in Seattle, you'd be gone on tour. The challenge is with all of our entertainment friends, you know, we got a lot of entertainer friends. We meet up in places that not in their own cities, man. I remember we were in Singapore and met up with a friend from the U.S. in California and Singapore. It's like, that is so strange. We almost met up with
Shelly and Wesley
in Singapore, and they live a few miles from us in Vegas. You know, it'd be convenient to come to the house instead of us going to Singapore to meet.
I know. Singapore is kind of a long way to go to get a cup of coffee together, isn't it?
But it's good coffee. It's a company
man.
of good coffee. Yeah, it's a blessing every time we come there. Now, when next time we get up to Seattle, we've got friends that we just found out live just a few miles from you.
Yeah,
I know. Renton.
Together.
Renton, yeah.
Man, come on. Let's make it a point of hooking up. Can we do that, please?
Yeah,
definitely.
You know what we do every year is we always go to. There's a little German town there.
Yeah, Leavenworth.
Leavenworth. Yes, I love it.
So much fun. Every year we go there.
Man, I've been over there before. Literally, I doubled the black population when I hit town. You know what time it is. Okay? Thank you, Rico Thomas. That's a Rico line. Funny brother, man. He used to talk about that. We toured together. That brother get up on stage. So I doubled the black population when I got here. Yeah, Rico Thomas. Funny brother, man.
Shelly is actually watching right now.
Yeah, she says hello.
She says, hey, guys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I told her we were going to have you on here today. And she was like, oh, my God, tell him I said hello. So Shelly
please. Big hello right back to her.
Yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, definitely. When next time we're in Seattle, we'll definitely get together.
How do people get a hold of you, Rod? Because I was
how do people get a hold of you?
My uncle lives in Spokane, Washington. He did an Alaskan cruise, and he come up there, and when I was in Spokane, he goes, I met the funniest man I ever seen in my life. And I said, who? He goes, Rod Long. He is so. I says, did you really? He goes, yeah. I said, I know Rod. He's a friend of mine. He goes, he said he knew you. And I don't know if he thought I was just name dropping or not. I said, yeah.
Did he tell you, by the way, that I don't know Kevin Hart or Will Smith? Did he tell you that too?
We had to bump them because I would rather have spoken with you. So we're going to have to get Kevin Hart and Will Smith another time because this is way more important.
Yeah, they're not that important.
And neither one of them brothers got cancer, okay?
That's right.
Neither one of them brothers beat cancer. And I dare either one of them to pick up a camera and come out and shoot with me because I can show them a few things.
That's right.
I'm all over that, man. I'm all about spreading the joy and sharing the gifts that God blessed me with. I'm all over that.
Well, how do we get a hold of you? How do people find Rod Long? How do they get you?
Well, you know what I would really love to have is for people to go to my website, my photography website, and check out what I do. So that's Longscapes, LONGSCAPES .photo shelter, just like it sounds. Photo, PHOTO, shelter, SHELTER.com.
Now, I'm not a person just to write that down or you slow down.
Do I need to slow? Okay, let me again read my full lips.
All right, let's do it. Long, go ahead, baby. He's going to do it now.
Long, LONG. Scapes, all one word. SCAPES. Longscapes. Photo shelter. One word.
Photoshop.
Yeah, photo shelter.
Shelter.
Yeah, photoshelter.com.
Could you have gotten a longer one?
I know. I should. You know what? I like to have people utilize their typing skills when they're trying to get a hold of a brother online. You know, it's important. But no, check out. I would love to have people come. You know, go to my site, visit my site, see the other story that I've told for years with my camera. I love telling those stories. And nobody's judging, as you know, Yolanda. When you're looking in the finder of your camera, it's you and your mind's eye and whatever you have found so visually profound that you have now framed it and have clicked the shutter. And by the way, I think you might have more photos than I do, Yolanda. I swear to you, I think you have more photos than I do.
I do take a lot of photos.
She has almost 200,000.
That's more than, well, maybe not more than me. I don't know.
I doubt it. Yours are probably more professional. Mine are more for fun.
I know you've got serious dog pictures, and Mark said you've only got
Oh,
2
yeah.
pictures of him. So congratulations on the 2 pictures that you took of him. By the way, and I understand that in the 2 pictures, Mark's got the dog. All right, man. So you know how you.
That's how I got in the picture, because I held the dogs.
Oh,
Are you out? Are you doing
let me just say this, dog. You know how you rate in your house, dog.
Yes, I do.
That's all I'm saying.
Yes, I do. Are you out and about doing comedy live now, or you hold it back?
I've done a couple of Zoom gigs, and I'm batting 500. I bombed like I went down like the Titanic in the first one. Very embarrassing. Thank God they couldn't see me sweating. Oh, it was bad. It was like me taking my second Duolux before my second show that night. I was sweating. You understand what I'm saying? Call back. Thank you. Anyway.
Well, with technology, it's different doing a show because you don't.
It's 2-dimensional, and you know I move around on stage, and so what I have to do is really, Mark moves around. I mean, we move around, man. I mean, we're energetic, and we want the audience to get into our pace and our flow. And you know, though I'm black, I got a lot of Italian in me from the standpoint that I use my hands a lot when I'm on stage. You know what I'm saying? I've been hiding my hands from you guys much of this conversation. I've been beating my legs up, things like that.
Well, we're looking forward to getting to Seattle and seeing you one-on-one live, and we'll definitely have some good times to remember, and no shortage of stories, that's for sure. So,
man, I so appreciate this opportunity for you guys. Both of you to reach out to me and for me to get a chance really to have a conversation and catch up with you, but at the same time, in a weird kind of way, to practice my online shtick, so to speak. You know, as weird as that sounds, man, it's like, I mean,
now, does your website, can you see it on the screen?
Did I spell that right?
Yeah, you did. Hold on a minute. Let me double check. I got to put my eyeballs on.
Put your eyes on, because we just had somebody say web page not found.
Let me make sure.
Longscapes.photoshelter.com. Longscapes. Yep. Should been there. Longscapes.photoshelter.com.
Did you pay your $14.99 a year?
Come on, man. It should be up. As a matter of fact, when I lost you that time, when I suddenly faded to black, so to speak, what popped up was my webpage. Popped up right away. So I know it's there.
Here, check it out. Check it out. Here we go, honey. How do I do push show?
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's try this.
Okay.
Let's go there.
Thanks, Garrett.
Yeah, Garrett's got her back.
Okay, cool. Can you see it now?
Right. It's a pleasure and honor to be able to hook up again. I'm glad that you took the cancer out of your life and you put it aside and said, you know what, your life's worth. You still got some things you got to accomplish in this life. So,
listen, man. When I started seeing the Grim Reaper, tiptoeing around outside my front door, I thought to myself, wait a minute, Reaper. The last time I saw you was on television terrorizing a white woman about her appliances. You need to stay.
And then your hair turned white and you freaked out even more.
Listen, I had the scares behind when he came to the house. All right, that's all I'm saying.
Oh, well, it's good. It's good to see you. It's great to be able to visit again, reminisce on old times. I can't wait till we get together and we go get ourselves a nice tea and we'll go meet at the steakhouse.
I don't know about that, man. You got to bring the Duolux. Okay. You got to bring the SS with you, okay? You got to bring if we're going to the steakhouse again, you got to bring the SS. Now, for you people who don't know what SS is, that stands for stool softener. That's right.
Well, maybe we'll pick something a little less harmful to the body.
Man, listen, I'm good with a tuna melt. You understand what I'm saying?
There you go.
Okay, I'm way easy, man. I'm way easy.
Well, we'll get some people to share this with their friends and do watch parties and all that good stuff. And we will keep in touch with you. Was it okay if we interview you again another time? We'll get a lot of.
I would love to talk to you again. And anybody who wants to get a hold of me, actually, you know what? Don't bother me, folks. No, just kidding.
You can message him on Facebook.
You can message me on Facebook. I would give you my private email. But listen, I learned a lesson watching Lance Armstrong's 30 by 30 on ESPN last night, both part 1 and part 2. Sometimes you got to keep your business to yourself. You understand what I'm saying? And sometimes, as we all know, sometimes our private business should remain our private business. This man beat cancer and had people castigating him because he cheated. I'm sorry, but the man had testicular cancer. Life cheated him, walking around with one nut. That ain't fair.
Now he's a nut. He's not nuts.
He's a nut.
He's a one nut wonder is what he is. Thank you.
One nut wonder.
You know what? I'm alive because of people like Lance Armstrong. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm going to go on record and say that. And I know that there's people out there who are going to say, oh, he was a big cheater. You know what I know about people who want to criticize and castigate? Let he who is without anything in their past life that they would be embarrassed about throw the first rock. Because what we're going to realize is that we all live in a glass house of some configuration.
That's right.
The end.
That's
so we got to stop judging folks, man. The last person who was walking around here perfect in every way got nailed to a tree one Friday afternoon by a bunch of very angry Jewish people. I'm telling you what I know because I went to Catholic school. I'm recovering, but I went and I know what I'm talking about.
Well, thank you for joining us and sharing our stories.
It was the best time. Thank you so much.
Making us laugh, like always.
Yeah. Make sure you get out there and share this. Keep in touch with Rod. Go check out his pictures. We already had people say beautiful photos. Judy did, and they are amazing. You're an amazing.
They're amazing. And by the way, dig this because I'm unemployed. Understand something? They are priced to sell. Don't let me get famous. Then you ain't gonna be able to afford me. I promise you.
That's right, buddy.
You know,
that's right. As long as I can see, I can frame and shoot. I'm telling you what I know. All right.
Wow, these are nice.
Well, we love it, man. We love you. You know that. So let's
man, I love you both. It's so great to see both of you and not have a plate of pork sausage in front of us.
That's right. And if we see you again, we're bringing you the stool softener.
That's right.
Please come packing. You know what I need.
That's right, buddy.
Right.
Well, make sure you guys share this out. Back to Wednesday. Try to squeeze in.
He's going to try to squeeze in Kevin Hart and Kevin whatever.
Coming up in the next 30 days, we got Steven Spielberg coming on, Garth Brooks. We've got them all. Tim McGraw. It doesn't matter. We also have the Rolling Stones will be with us live. Hopefully we don't have to bump them
if
for
you
one of our
give me an autograph, I would be so happy. Just give me Mick Jagger's autographs. And by the way,
that's right.
Man,
just give me the autographs. I don't care if they're on your show. Oh, we lost Rod again. I don't know what happened.
Rod is gone.
And by the way, tell Mick Jagger for me, congratulations. I've never seen a white man with such gifted lips. Just tell him that for me.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. And
like and share, buddy. Comment,
right.
like, and share. Give us your feedback, and we'll get you in touch with Rod. Thanks for being here.
Sure
Thanks for being alive.
Myself. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's a love to you, brother. Talk to you soon.
God bless you guys.
You too. We'll talk to you later.
Okay, take care.
Man, he is a nut. You should see him on the ship and off the ship. He is just like that. The stories go on and on. We could have kept him here for 3 more hours. And just love the fact that he's alive and he lives life to the fullest. And that's all we can do is stay positive. What's going on today? Let's not get wrapped up in it. Let's move past it and make sure we stay together. Anyway.
And remember, life happens, but it's all about your attitude. It's all about how you got to stay positive on what you are looking forward to, not what you're looking at. So stay positive. Have a nice week. And we'll see you on Wednesday.
Wednesday!
I don't know who we're going to have on Wednesday yet, so don't listen to him.
Thank you for tuning in to Studio 50. Oh, wait, they don't know it's me.
They'll know it's you already. Your voice is not very disguisable unless you start talking like a girl.
Thank you. We're tuning in to Studio 53,
So
where
next
low
time,
budget is our nickname. High quality, low budget. That's how we do it. Go to our Facebook. Hey, we posted some new clips up there. Just funny as can be. And hypnotizememark.com. No,
What?
Facebook.
what are you
Facebook,
talking about?
On Vimeo, we posted our adult shows, so people can watch our adult
okay.
shows.
Well, we post clips on his fan page, Hypnotist Mark.
Go look, smile.
And then we also have over 2,000 videos on Vimeo on demand. So if you want to look at some videos and have a good laugh, look at old shows, maybe you'll see a friend in there making a fool out of themselves. Who knows? But it'll make you laugh.
That's
so go
right.
check it out. And yes, Wesley, Rod does remember you and Shelly. So, and he said hello. He sent you his love. So we'll see you guys on Wednesday. I'll let you know who's going to be on Wednesday. So we don't know yet. So
let's do a poem.
Why do you always want to do a poem?
Every
Okay, go ahead,
day-
do a poem.
Let me sing with me. Every day is not Monday, but every week it shows up. Every day has a Tuesday. Every week it'll show up. Take it. They're allowed to take it.
Okay, have a good week, everyone.
Peace out.
I don't know what it is about him. He has to have an intro for the Mark and Yolanda show, and he has to have a poem
My new look.
every time.
Going golfing. Bam, baby. All right. Peace out. Stay positive. Be happy. Smile for somebody. Do something good for somebody today. And put a smile on their face as well. I love you. You love
Why are
me.
you wearing a hat?
We're the happy couple you see.
Why are
We
you wearing
just
a hat?
celebrated 12 years of our anniversary. May 29th is the anniversary date for me and you. Somebody asked me what my birthday was. I told them January 31st. They said, what year? I said, God dang, it's every year. What, it was like Easter? I change it every year? This ain't Easter, it's every year. So the next time, every time, I go, what year? I go, every year, you idiot. What do you think? When's your birthday?
That's not what they
January
mean when
31st.
they ask you what year.
Every freaking
That's
year.
not what it means.
Well, that's
So
what I told them.
When they ask you, it's like, what year were you born?
They
Not-
didn't ask that. They said, what year? I
Yeah,
said,
what year? What
every
year were
year.
you born?
Oh.
That's what it means. It doesn't mean like what year every year. You have to be a smarty pants about it.
No, I like to mess with the applications.
Yes, I know you like to mess
What-
with people.
What year? Every year. Every year. Boom, shakalaka. Okay.
You
we're
mean
out.
you don't celebrate it for a month?
Well, because it's January 31st. It's like the last
But
day.
you got to start on January 1st.
That's your job as my wife.
My job is to celebrate your birthday for a year.
For a month.
Okay, so my birthday is November 30th.
No, it's
so
not. No, it's not. No, it's
October
not.
31st.
Her
you gotta
birthday's
start
Halloween.
October 1st, then you got to start celebrating my birthday. That means October 1st until the 31st, I get a gift every day.
Let's not start that until the new year. We'll start with the January because January is the beginning, and you'll show me how to
We're
do it.
starting this year.
I want to learn how to do
This
it.
year on October 1st, Mark is going to celebrate my birthday for the whole month. So every day I will be sharing what gift he gives me. So have a nice week. He said it already, so he can't take it back. So can he be a smarty pants if he's not wearing pants? Very true, Judy.
Yeah, Judy knows us. Yeah, don't worry about red pants. All right, share this video. Thanks for your comments. Like us, and let's continue to rock, man. Got over 12,000 fans in 1 month. We increased from 8,000 to 12,000. Let's keep on
That's awesome.
sharing. Yeah. I love
So yeah,
it. All right.
keep sharing,
Hey,
keep in touch. We love keeping in touch with you. We love keep coming here and just chatting and just sharing some laughter and some of our friends from our cruise life because we've met some pretty amazing people. So we're gonna try to get a few more people on here to come and talk. Maybe we'll get some of the cast
Ooh.
members
that would be
to
fun.
chat and give us their experience
let's get
on
Vincent.
living on the ship.
Vincent, he's a cruise director now. Let's
Oh
get
yeah,
him.
we'll get him. I'll get
He's
him
a
to come
nut.
on. He's a nut. So,
All righty. Let's
so
get
you
out of
guys
here.
have a great day and a great week, and we'll see you on Wednesday. Bye bye.